let's see how we might apply the Pareto principle to the reliability of rolling element bearings. We know that bearings, the life expectancy of bearings can vary quite considerably, and there's a lot of things that influence, including design. But there's what we call the kind of the silent assumptions of machine reliability. And these silent assumptions often don't get the attention they deserve. Sometimes they do. These include alignment, water contamination, particle contamination, certainly the types of lubricants, the amount of lubricant that we put in our bearings, and definitely heat-related issues. Let's take a look at just three of those. The first we'll talk about is alignment related. So you can see in the chart over here that alignment has a very marked effect on bearing life. Just 5 mils per inch of misalignment can result in about an 80% reduction in bearing life. The more vibration, the more looseness, the more misalignment, the more imbalance, the more bearing destruction you're going to have, no question about it. Water is also very destructive to bearings. It often doesn't get the attention that it deserves. One of the reasons is you don't have to have a very visible presence of water in the oil to lose an awful lot of bearing life expectancy. So to give you an example of that, you can see in our little graph here, this is actual data, just 1,000 parts per million water, or 0.1% water, equates to nearly 80% reduction in rolling element bearing life. There's lots of studies out there that have found exactly the same thing. Well, 1,000 parts per million water is not going to be milky oil. It might be a little bit cloudy oil in some cases. In other cases, you won't be able to see any change in the appearance of the oil. The third example is particle contamination. Particles get in between the surfaces and relative motion, rolling element versus the opposing raceway or track that the rolling element moves in. And as it does, it gets overrolled. It dents surfaces. It can also scrape and cut surfaces in the process. From this chart, you can see that greater than 60% reduction in bearing life occurs when you change your filtration from 40 micron filtration to 3 micron filtration. Now, a lot of bearings you can't even filter at all. They're grease lubricated. You can't put a 40 micron filter or a 3 micron filter. But other bearings are critical application type bearings where we are using oil as our lubricant, and we have the option to use fine filtration. If we make that choice between 40 microns and 6 or 3 microns, you can see the potential benefit that we can gain.